what's up, everyone? This is SojuTalk, your weekly shot of K-pop. We're coming at you with a super spicy episode 329, and we're recording on May 26th, 2025. I'm Doug, and joining me today, we got Warren.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And Anita.
Hello.
As a quick reminder, check out SojuTalk on your favorite podcast platform, sub to us on YouTube, and join the SojuTalk Discord and be a part of the nation. We do have an After Hours segment this week. It's
We do.
It used to be State of the Nation, back a couple of years ago. We're essentially doing a show and tell of content we've been watching lately. It doesn't have to be precisely Korean related, but we have content like shows or movies or series we've been watching. So we're gonna be doing it then. And Warren made us make PowerPoint slides, so he gave us homework.
Yeah,
which
it's
was
show
weird.
and tell. It's show and tell, guys. It's show and
I
tell.
haven't made a PowerPoint in 7 years, so it was a little weird. I was like, how do I do this?
You did good, Doug. You did really good.
I went all out. I was like, I want to get an A.
Don't spoil each other's decks. Come on.
Other than that, we will not have an episode next week because Warren has some prior engagements, but
yes,
we'll talk about them.
Okay, what's going on? I am going to LA. I'm going to Los Angeles. I'm going. I'm actually leaving Wednesday morning, and I'm gonna be out for a week or so. Primary reason I'm going is there's a festival out in LA called Head in the Clouds, run by 88 Rising folks. Lots of Asian and Asian American music acts are popping in. I'm gonna be going to primarily see G-Dragon, 21, Dean, the DPR folks, Tabber. Miso's gonna be there. Warren Hughes gonna be there. Rich Brian, Higher Brothers. Those three Asian kids.
Nice.
I forgot about them. Not gonna lie. Anyways, the reason I'm telling you all this is so that when I come back, I'll share my detailed recount of these events. But two.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of our listeners live out in the West Coast, primarily in the SoCal LA area. If you have any food recommendations, I would love to add them to my itinerary. I am going with a bunch of friends. My girlfriend's going with me and a bunch of other folks. So I don't have complete control over where we go. But if you give me a recommendation, I'm probably gonna be guys, remember I do a podcast, so listeners told me we should probably go to this. If you send me somewhere sketchy, I will fucking find you and sue you, but otherwise I will.
Or if you're going to Head in the Clouds LA and you're there when Warren's there, hit him up. You can get a photo op together.
Yeah,
it could happen.
Come tap me on the back and say hi. You said some very mean things about Cat's Eye 3 weeks ago. How dare you?
No. No hate, no hate.
That's
anyway.
that.
If you have food recommendations, please send them over to me on Discord or whatever social platform we're on, and I'll be happy to check them out. Yeah, thank you. I'll see you guys in LA.
So we'll skip a week. In terms of programming, though, that means we're set up for another super episode when you get back.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have, IU, Dreamcatcher Unit in week 1, right? You're like, okay, that was the week we were supposed to catch up on older things that didn't get covered, but too bad. Week 2, in Hyphen, Itzy Kiss of Life is in the QWER. So, good luck. Yeah, good luck to us.
5, 6?
That's 7 things I named, by the way. So, good luck with that. We'll figure it out as we do it. But, let's get into the regular show. Big new releases. We got 3 songs this week, actually from big artists. SHINee, Poet Artist. We got Red Velvet, Irene and Seulgi, that unit with Tilt. We have 17 Thunder. Let's start at the top with SHINee, Poet Artist. They are from SM. Last 3 songs: Hard, Atlantis, Don't Call Me. Anita, as the shovel of the group, give us a lore of this song. What's going on with this song?
Sure. So I think we mentioned this last time when in the news when we were talking about that SHINee was going to come back, and they were the name of the song, Poet Artist, is also the name of Jonghyun's last solo album that he released. And because of that, there's some relation in the production. So Jonghyun worked on this track. I'm not sure if he worked on the B-side called Starlight that they also released at the same time as this one. But so he was involved in the production. If you listen to the song, he's in the background vocals, and he actually had a little section in the bridge that I think was the guide, I believe, or like a version of the song that they were working on, because the song was not finished. The song was not finished prior to his passing. So I believe they reworked it. And
let me touch on that 1 second. So for people who are just getting into K-pop like real recently, they might not even be aware that SHINee once had 5 members. One of the members unfortunately passed away. I want to say it was like 6 years ago, 7 years ago at this point, right? Something like that.
2017. Yep.
Yeah. So it is what it is. But that's the context of the song.
And
more or less.
To add a little bit of that context and to confirm what Anita said, the bridge section in the official lyrics of the song, it does say Jonghyun's guide part. So that it is what that is.
All right. In terms of the song, I thought the song was really nice. I only had one complaint, and I don't even think it's like a major one. It's a minor one this week. I thought this was fine. I thought that during the verses of this song, sometimes the background noises and stuff going on kind of drowned out the vocals.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know if that was just a me thing, but I felt it.
Yeah, it wasn't
I think it was,
me thing. Yeah. it wasn't just
okay,
me.
it's just a me thing.
Yeah.
But that's a very minor thing. I was just like, man, these the voice. I thought the voices were a little quiet relative to like the ethereal sounds in the background. You know, at certain points.
There is a lot going on, and I will say I wrote in my notes that the arrangement feels slightly disorganized. Maybe that's what you're referring to. Like, I don't feel like it's a volume issue, mixing issue per se, but more so there is a lot of things going on in the song at once. Like there are these very reverbed, effect heavy, vocal chops. There are these womp 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 womp, kind of like those like bouncy bass synths going on in the background. The key is going through a lot of changes, a lot of accidental, and the percussion is a little aggressive. And then because you have this ethereal, dreamy vibe to it, there are the pad instruments. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of layers to this song, and I think like on one hand there are moments for me where it felt a little disorganized. On the other hand, I felt like it was a nice. I don't know. It was a really cool vibe. Like it was kind of bouncy. It had a good drive to it. And on the flip side of it, it wasn't something as obvious as like deep house or like something that feels a little more like formulaic that we've gotten in the past couple, releases from SHINee, even going all the way back to View or like that sort of sound. So I thought that was really cool. The arrangement for what they started with, I don't know how many people touched this thing. I'm seeing 2 names on the production list here for the credits. Sultry D's and Sultry Yunsu. I don't know. It sounds very cool, not gonna lie. Doug, I saw his hands up.
I was raising my hand. I didn't want to keep it up too much. I didn't want to get a screenshot of me making like a Elon Musk salute to be.
Yeah, I was a little. I don't know if you keep that in the show,
I
Doug.
I caught myself. I was just raising my hand.
You raising your hand because you have a question.
I have a question.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we know if this was meant to be a SHINee song or was this going to be a Jonghyun song? Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I read some stuff on Reddit that was kind of discussing the release, that it was meant to be a SHINee song, and that's why Jonghyun did not put it in his last solo.
Because I thought that it felt very Jonghyun-y though. I don't know what was.
It is,
right?
Yeah.
It is,
but
right? The chorus,
that's what I read. I don't know if it's been confirmed.
What's interesting is if you think about Jonghyun's solo discography, his last album title is Poet Artist with the little line in between. Like it is
right.
There is a line here I think like between his music and this release. To me, it almost felt like a lot of the vocal sections felt very inspired by Jonghyun. Like I heard Key, for example, channeling that Jonghyun vocal inflection a lot, you know what I mean? And there were moments, yeah, and there were moments where I was like, "Oh my god, they must have kept a lot of his vocals." I was wrong because they only kept 2 lines from his vocal guide or rough draft or whatever. But like, yeah, it feels very, very much like they kept a lot of what they started with, and I kind of dig it. I like it a lot. Yeah.
No, I agree.
Yes.
I think I feel like I don't know if it's been confirmed where the song was at as far as a demo or a guide before SHINee decided to actually release it and fully have it in production. But it feels like even if it wasn't, if it didn't have this sound to begin with, I think SHINee purposefully made it very similar to what Jonghyun's style is, because I think that was the message they wanted, right? I think that was the intent. That was the purpose for releasing the single this time around with Starlight. And I don't know. I think it works out because I think now SHINee has explored like different genres. Like even just going back to the last couple releases, Hard was very different. Don't Call Me also was very different. I think Atlantis was the most similar to what we were used to with SHINee, but I don't know. I feel like this seems to be also a trend of SHINee trying out different genres that we might not associate with them as a group. Maybe with solo projects, they have explored this, but as a group, this was nice. I think it did both things of like showing a different sound while still also honoring Jonghyun's style and like the meaning of that. So I think it works out.
Yes.
I
You know, keep going.
Oh no, I love the messaging of the song too. It feels very confident. It feels very. It's the core of it is obviously like self-love, but like at the same time, it's wrapped in a lot of messaging about like how artistry works and how they approach it, how they approach their work, their performances, what they make. And this kind of messaging is sometimes it feels a little shallow in K-pop, given a lot of K-pop productions come from producers and the creative process tends to have a lot of hands in it. With SHINee, given the background and what we know about the context and the way SHINee performs and whatnot, it feels pretty genuine. I'm kind of liking it. So like between the actual core messaging of it and the wording of it and like how it plays into the rhythm of the song, like for example, like I'm trying to think of an example. There's a bunch of parts where like they're like ha 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 pum ha pum natako, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, that did not sound anything like it. I'm so embarrassed. But you know what I mean,
I kind of get it.
Right, like they use the words to create rhythm in the song, and I was like, that's dope. That's fucking dope.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like that's
There was a motif they used throughout the whole song where when the vowel of the word ended in the they did a lot of the yeah part.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, I don't know, like it felt a little repetitive, to be honest. I feel like I don't know if it needed to be that way. But as I listened to the song, I was like, oh well, it made it a little bit catchier because it made it, I don't know, it made that section a little more interesting than just delivering it as is, maybe. I don't know. I guess I had mixed feelings about it because it does stand out a lot and they do it a lot as a motif. But it makes it interesting. If anything, it makes me remember it at least.
For sure. I feel like it was a really cool rhythmatic motif that I wasn't getting sick of at all. It has moments where it's like la 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 la, but like on the flip side of it, when it's used in the bridge, it has rhythmatic value, it has like thematic value. I don't know. It felt very much like we were killing a lot of birds with one stone, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That sounds a little aggressive, actually.
Thought it was potentially a tiny bit repetitive until I heard the second song we're covering this week, by the way, guys. Let me I just wanted to throw a zinger, dude.
Okay.
Let me throw it.
Okay.
I think that this works well because it invokes a lot of like the weirdest thing is even if I was not told of what's going on with this song, right, at all, and I had listened to it, I'd be like, this is some Jonghyun sounding ass chorus right now. You know what I mean? Like you could like, to me, that's what I like the most about the song is that it just sounds a lot like his style. And the other thing I want to point out is people were worried about his inclusion in this song and the potential use of AI to make it work. and it doesn't feel like they did it.
really?
And if they did it, it was so subtle we couldn't tell. So props off to whoever made the decision to just keep the raw vocals in here. I enjoyed that. I thought that was the correct decision. I don't think anyone would have liked an A-Hi Jonghyun singing the song, to be honest.
Oh jeez. No.
Yeah, so I'm happy they went that route. I like the inclusion of his voice during the bridge-ish section. I don't know. It was a bridge. I don't really know, but I enjoyed that as well. I thought this invoked a lot of him, and I like the whole concept of how it was executed. I thought it was very tasteful in that regard.
For sure. Like I think the chorus is where it's like most evident what they tried to do and like how it came out. The rhythm, like the way they say call me poet artist, call me that's just, if you like try saying that out loud, it is awkward as hell. I felt awkward as hell just saying it, and somehow they managed to pull it off, and they somehow managed to make they managed to execute it in a way, both performance wise and songwriting wise, in a way that makes sense, and I think that's dope.
Yeah, I think they did a good job. I like when things aren't too on the nose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't want. I like to be shown, not told.
Thank you. I agree.
The last thing I gotta invoke some Jonghyun here. I was Jigambuta stop. I was
Sherlock.
I
Sorry,
love that part from him. The Sherlock intro of him, bro, is like one of my favorite things of all time. That time it didn't come out well.
Yeah, that was his
Sometimes-
Jonghyun impression.
I did it like 3 months ago and it was decent that time, but today was shit. I don't know what
Who told
happened.
you it's decent?
We'll try it again. We'll try it again later.
Yeah.
I gotta practice some more, dude. I'll do it in the shower later. That being said, solid song from SHINee. I like what they did. I thought it was very tasteful what they're doing. Yeah, right? Good.
Yeah.
Let's pivot. Let's pivot to other SM label mates. Well, also, this is the first SHINee iteration we're seeing after like Taemin's not at the company. Did Onyu leave as well?
Only's out too.
Only's out too,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the first
Yeah.
iteration of SHINee. I also think this is the first iteration of SHINee since they finished military, because they came back
Yeah, they're all
with
done now.
hard 2 years ago. So I thought it all was handled pretty well. All
Nice,
things
nice.
considered behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's pivot. We have Irene and Seulgi with Tilt. They're also from SM. Naughty and Monster, which were two very notable songs at the time when they debuted this subunit. Now we have Tilt. Okay, number one, really happy to see some Irene Seulgi unit thing going on again, right? That's fun.
Yeah,
They
I'm glad
are
it came back.
maintaining, I'm not going to call it straight up tutting, but there's a lot of that style of movements in the dancing of the song, which I thought was also cool. It's kind of on brand with their unit, right, Anita? Especially in the chorus.
Yeah.
That being said, for me, I kind of mentioned in the SHINee thing, I just thought the chorus was like really repetitive.
I can see that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't not see it either.
That's my big issue with this one. I thought it was like is the tilt. We did it a lot of times.
I feel like maybe I didn't mind it as much because I felt like it made sense with the like the sound they were going for in a
Same.
way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like it felt like it was meant to be, or at least when I heard that section of the instrumental in the chorus, I thought like, oh, this is gonna be more. I guess I expected more performance and also like something more like matching so that it would make sense. I don't know. It felt like I wasn't too tired of it because of. I thought it kind of made sense with the instrumental, but I can't see how. I also feel like it felt a little short. Like the song felt a little short. Like I wish it had a little bit more happening maybe towards the end. But I can see that.
Yeah. In one sense, I feel like one way to, for example, avoid the repetition of tilt is probably like go into the second chorus. For example, you could do a whole vocal riff section and you do a lot of singing and like, obviously we have a vocal powerhouse in the air in the house right now, right, in the building. Like she can easily pull off a huge vocal section that would go after tilt. But I think kind of like Anita, the production was aware of like what aesthetic and sound it wanted to achieve, and they kind of made the active decision to kind of go with a more repetition heavy sound. To me, like given the arrangement of it and like what they're trying to achieve, I wasn't really bugged by it personally.
Okay.
I mean, like,
I guess-
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. I don't know, like, just this clubby house music revival that we've been getting a little bit. You know, my mind goes to Whiplash from last year. I'm okay with a little bit of repetition. Maybe a little more than this. I would have had a bit of an issue with, but I don't know. Like, I can recognize that the sound is built for dancing. I kind of was grooving to it a little bit, so I don't hate it. But yeah, what are you trying to say?
Oh no, I was gonna say that in the chorus. Also, I guess I didn't find it as it is repetitive, but I found it a little bit manageable, or I thought it was okay because there are sections in between the tilt part that they have like a vocal section. I don't know if it's both of them or one of them singing, but it's like a little phrase and then back to tilt, and then a little phrase, and then it goes a little higher. So I felt like it was kind of managing that repetition a little bit. But I can see it. I can see how it could get a little tired if you're not into it.
I did love the whole arrangement and the beat of it as well. Like, there is this nice
The synths, the piano.
that wavy bass with the little keyboards. And then there's this like percussive like guitar sound that's going like in the background, and it adds so much drive. It is so minimal and so clean, but yet so impactful and like epic at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, it's great. It's a great mood. It's a great vibe. Doug, go.
I never got to it. The only reason I said I thought the chorus was a little repetitive is because I really liked every other part of this song. That's
really?
my.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I thought. See, and it has to do with what you're saying. I thought that with those background guitar and things like that, they built a lot of tension up well on this song,
That's
and it
true.
feels like the room is very full. You know what I mean? Like, it's a nice full room. It's like a room. You know when you watch those renovation shows, and then they're staging the house, and the house they brought in like fake furniture and made the room look nice. Like, this is how your house could look.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like with this song. It felt like, wow, I could live in this space. You know what I mean? It felt nice. The house felt nice and well furnished, which is good.
Good.
One thing I want. Okay, I don't want to be a nitpick, but I got it. It bugged me.
Okay, go.
okay.
Go.
So in the chorus, first chorus, they show
Yeah.
choreo shots with the first chorus, right?
Right.
I'm
yes.
getting to it on my screen right now. So the first one, they do this thing. I don't have any problems
Like
with
a
this
seesaw,
thing, right?
a little
The seesaw
seesaw.
was fine. Then the second tilts, we do left and right leg kicks, right? I don't know why
they
they
do?
kept the shot. Yeah, they kick their legs left and right, like right leg, left leg, left leg, right?
Yes.
I don't know why they kept in the shot because Seulgi and Irene are like the leg positions are really different from each other when they shouldn't be. I got a screenshot here. Look at this. They're supposed to be in sync with each other, and
I
it bugged the
see.
absolute shit out of me. Like the screenshot I sent Warrenita, we had Seulgi's foot is on the floor. Irene's foot is still 100% up in the air, and it's not supposed to be.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying, right? Like,
Whoa.
Trying to
Okay, this is
figure
why
out
I'm
if
actually
yeah.
looking forward to the live performances of this because
Yeah.
I think they did show some shots of the choreography throughout the music video, but I feel like they weren't long enough. Like, you didn't have like a full like panned out view for a good minute, like a good couple seconds at least. So I feel like I'm looking forward to the live stage just to see what's going on. Because now that I'm looking at the screenshot, like, it does look off. But then when I look at the backup dancer next to Irene, she has her foot up too. So I'm not sure if it's meant to look a certain way and it looks a little odd because we see it so fast. I don't know.
I just thought for like a song like this where you're really trying to hit these like point choreography things, right?
Yeah, it's precise. Yeah.
Like it's supposed to be so precise that when I saw it not being precise, I was like,
It took you out. It took you out.
for a second I was like, why? We could have filmed that a couple times and put a more synchronous shot in. For the
context for listeners at home, because I couldn't figure out how to put the photo in the video. I was trying to figure it out maybe in post. This is roughly 1 minute 4 and 5 seconds into the video. Either once you notice it, you can't unnotice it. I will admit, like, I didn't notice it before you mentioned it, but now that I see it, I can't unsee it. Like, it's there. Like, Seulgi is constantly faster than Irene.
She's like a half a beat faster, right?
Yeah,
When
or
it's supposed
either
to be
that or
synchronous.
Irene slower. I don't know which.
I don't know who, but it's like, and to me, I was like, and you know what? I was already like, all right, we're gonna have this repetitive chorus till, and then I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh, I'm not even angry at Irene and Seulgi. I'm angry at whoever decided to add, like, because they film these shots multiple times each, right?
Yeah.
True.
And I don't know why you stuck with this one, because to me, I was like, that's more of an editing issue than anything. But to me, it was like, it took me out of it for a second. I was like, really? SF, come on.
The good news is, in the third,
It's literally half a second.
in the second run of the chorus, like they cut to a different scene, so that choreo is not shown. So it's while we're on the topic of nitpicking, let me preface and say, like, I think Seulgi's vocals in this song is so good. Like her capability of like balancing the highs and the lows, like the top section, when you begin the song, I was like, oh my god, she is so good, reeling you in instantly with this low and quietish vocals, which obviously looks easy, but like we all know it's not. You know what I mean? Now, in this song, she goes back and forth between her and Seulgi. I think her and Irene. Seulgi, I think, does a great job. High moments, low moments, mid. Like she's overall, she does what she needs to do. I'm gonna try to word this in the nicest way possible.
Oh dear.
Seulgi's a better vocalist than Irene, and it's a little too apparent in this track, for me.
Can I counter you for like half a counter, not a full counter?
Okay, half counter.
I think Seulgi has way better parts than Irene does.
Okay, no, that's a little fair. That's fair.
Especially like in the main part you're probably talking about is the middle of the song, right? There's a part where Irene sings a lot of da 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 da, and then when Seulgi comes in, there's a lot more dynamics with the parts she's singing. It goes way more up and down, and I think it sounds way better. But but it might be throughout the song as well.
No, I think that's a part of it. Like the part she got wasn't like you're talking about the second verse.
A minute 30 in,
right?
The Irene part starts, and then it goes into a Seulgi part.
That thing, which like I agree, is probably not the best, easiest line to do, given you have to maintain one note throughout. But like, I know.
I know I know what you mean. I
mean, I don't think it's. I think the parts that were given to each of them, I didn't think. How should I say it? I didn't think they were like inappropriate for their capabilities, because I think within Red Velvet, if we think of them as a group, right, and they're a subunit from that group, Seulgi does take more of the vocal heavy parts, and then Irene is primarily more sub-vocalist and rapper. So I feel like it makes sense to me that that's how things were divided in this case.
It's not that it's not that I don't understand. Like I am very well aware of their parts, and I have openly said that I enjoy Irene's rap on like songs like Dum Dum, but like in a situation like this where it's just the two of them and they're going back and forth with each other, it becomes a little more clear. Whereas in like Red Velvet, you got 5 people, arrangements are all over the place, everyone gets way different parts. Some people are rapping, some people are singing, some people are chanting. You got Wendy, you got Yeri, you got like Joy in the mix. I don't know. I'm not saying Irene is bad by any means. It's just I'm listening to the song, and then whenever you transition from Irene to Seulgi or Seulgi to Irene, I'm like, oh, okay. I notice, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes they're not you get what I'm saying. I'm gonna stop there. But other than that, I had no real complaints. Like,
I got another thing. I'm not gonna nitpick anymore. I'm done with those are my 2 issues. This music video is freaking fantastic.
It's really cool.
I like the vibe.
For one of them, so this is a music video with like 0 exposition, essentially, right? This shit is banging though. I'm not gonna say it reminds me of Whiplash, but there are certain shots in this music video that remind me of Whiplash. Okay. I don't know why, but it's great. It's a great music video. They had these like, one of the motifs is they had like kind of like, I don't want to call them oily wax figures of them or something. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I wanted to use the word ceramic, but yes, oily wax figures. That'll do.
I mean, they're shiny. They're shiny. Whatever it is.
They're glistening. Yeah.
That was kind of cool. Whatever that was, I thought.
I've seen that kind of editing in more like techno, like heavy, like more like experimental music. It makes sense to me where it was trying to give that vibe of being very like not quite techno or house, but like very like cool, very chill, very vibey.
Why is it Espa doing shit like that? That should be their jam, considering the group that they're in.
Nah,
right?
they're
But
too
they don't.
metallic. Metal is their thing.
They're like a little grungy.
Yeah.
Or...
Irene and
I get it.
Seulgi can take the ceramic, wax, shiny, slimy figurines. They can have different figurines.
Yeah, I normally am not a fan of zero exposition in music videos, but I thought the way they handled it, I'm like, if you're not into Irene Seulgi, if you don't know who they are and you watch this music video, you'd be like, who the F are these people? Right? You would be like very intrigued by what you saw, I think, which is a good thing. Yeah, I did enjoy this. I like these first two songs. Let's pivot. Let's pivot. We got last song, 17 Thunder. They are from Pledis. Last three songs. The last one was the DJ Khaled Love Money Fame song. Then we had Maestro. Then we had Gotta Music. Now we got Thunder. I don't know how to approach this one. I'm surprised this is where I'll start. I'm surprised 17's doing like trying to make a club song, to be completely honest.
Okay. Elaborate.
Okay.
Well,
the genre was the first thing that surprised me. I was like, really? Especially when I got to the Thunder. Allo, right? And do, right? I was a little surprised by that. And let me just rip the band-aid off.
I was seeing how long you're gonna last.
I can't, dude. I'm confused by this one, dude. I don't know. In like not a good way. Not like not the Irene Seulgi where if you don't know who they are, you're like, oh, what was that? Right? This one, I'm more like, what was that? You know?
Let's talk about what the song is. Let's talk about it, right? It's like a millennial dance pop, electro house kind of song. The key characteristics here are like the gliding bass in the background. There are these deep house stabs. There's a bit of whistling going on in the background as a motif.
Quite a bit, yes.
Quite a bit. For all intents and purposes, top line does tend to follow a lot of the standard boy group motifs in K-pop. The lyrics are about being thunder-like and partying. I am quick like thunder. THUNDER. Allo.
I got a question.
Allo.
What is that? What's allo? What is there? What does that mean? Is that anything?
Yeah, Allo's like the hottest right now. It's a cool yoga brand. Like yoga leggings, sportswear, yoga wear. You guys ever heard of this?
No.
I'm like obviously trolling, but this is true. It's a real brand. Allo Yoga.
People say, okay, I'm on Reddit right now. People are saying it's like hi in certain languages.
Hello?
Yeah,
Well,
like aloha?
Yeah, like hello, you know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Hello.
Yeah.
It's certainly not Korean.
I don't know.
Sorry, Anita, what are you trying to say?
That's confusing. Oh no, I was just gonna say. I guess I thought it was something like a expression of sorts, not necessarily having a meaning, but just an onomatopoeia of some sorts. Maybe I don't know. I was as confused as everybody. I guess.
Is that the sound thunder makes?
No.
It's like hello. Hello.
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god.
Anyways, I'll say this though.
Okay.
The parts that I did enjoy wasn't the visual effects. I thought the visual effects, the editing were pretty cool. The rave club vibe they had going on was pretty cool. It almost gave me like not quite, because they stayed within the realm of I think realistic, not really sci-fi, but it gave me a lot of like The Matrix. Have you heard? Like, if you've seen The Matrix, there's like a scene.
The Matrix 1 is literally my favorite movie.
Oh, there you go. Then you know what I'm talking about. Where it's like a very like dance clubby, like kind of chaotic.
Neo was not clubbing like the Neo was clubbing in a cave, dude. When he was in Zion. Okay, but
very dark.
When he was plugged into the Matrix, yes, this does give that kind of aesthetic, very greenish, which I do understand.
Like the night camera, yeah. I thought that was cool, but I guess I agree with Doug. I was kind of surprised with the sound because it felt very, maybe a little too safe, like a little too familiar. Like I feel like I've heard this before in some iteration, maybe.
Yeah, okay. For all of the purposes, like rip the Band-Aid off, like what Doug said. It feels like we took the tropes of 2000s dance pop music and just decided that we could recycle it and kind of run with it. I don't know if that's an idea that works. I don't know if it was inspired by like Brat or something, but it for me it's not working. We had some of this like last week. I forget from who. Between Drop Top and like G Idol, like this is a new trend that I'm seeing. Like 2000s millennial dance pop kind of like. I'm thinking about like Kesha. I'm thinking about like Britney Spears. I'm thinking about like Far East, like a G6. You know what I mean? Like,
can I make an apology? I started off last week's Meow segment by calling their song "Slop." I apologize for that. That might have been too far.
Okay.
A little bit too far, independent of the rating I gave it last week. And I thought about that. I was like, I went a little too far with that one, Doug. Yep. That's what I thought. After I released the day after we released the episode, I was like, I really call this slop. Oh shit, it's not that bad.
So it's not that. It's not that. And neither is this. I think this is just something that I feel like it could have been more interesting if we pushed it a little further than just trying to recreate that sound. Which I don't even know if that was the intent. I don't know if they were actually trying to just recreate that.
Oh no, they know what bass preset they used. I feel like if they are not aware of what trend that they decided to follow, that's a mistake. Like that would be troubling on its own.
I got some good points. I thought the choreography to the chorus was very good. I liked what they did there.
Yeah, vibes are good. I like
the vibes were good there. That being said, all right, here's another Band-Aid. Yuck! I ripped another one. Okay, here we go. I base how I feel about songs, like, sometimes when we talk about songs on the podcast, right, we oftentimes towards the end of our segments bring up context and trajectory and things like that, right? Which, if you're just listening at home to a song, you probably don't do. But for the sake of our exercise that we do on the podcast, everything is based on expectations, right? To me, this song, to be completely honest, is a little below my expectations for a 17 track.
I can see that.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And I don't think there's an easy way to say it, so that's why I ripped off the Band-Aid, right? For me, from my expectations on what I think, because they've released so many ridiculously good bangers in the past. I think the recent run, I liked Maestro, but I thought Gotta Music, the Love Money Fame DJ Khaled thing, and now this one. So 3 out of the 4 tracks for me, the past 4 tracks, I've been like, you know what I mean? And I don't think that's the best vibe I should be getting when we're about to be going into 17 military era starting. You know what I mean? To me, that's just it concerns me like 1%, not a lot, 1%, but it just have some food for thought.
I mean, I think that's an interesting way to put it. As someone who like 17 is one of those groups that I have to admit, like I have started checking out while we do the podcast. Like I have not been super familiar with their stuff before we did. I retroactively checked out stuff from like 2017, 2018. There were a lot of songs I liked that, leading up into like 2021-ish. But like I don't know. Like I do see what you mean. Like a lot of their songs I've been a little bit hit or miss on. Like I have go back and check out our review of Maestro. Like my critique of Maestro I think was a lot more aggressive than yours. So I don't disagree with that you're coming at. On the other hand, I do appreciate that they're trying to do a lot of different things.
Yes, for sure.
That's nice.
Yeah, like if I had to go back to like 17 discography and really think about where this roots back to, it would probably be Hot. But like even I feel like even that's reaching it a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like that's like Hot, Maestro, this Super. I don't know. Like sure you could group them together, but like barely. You know what I mean? With Thunder, I appreciate that they tried to do something new and tried to pull out this EDM card. And I think there's a lot of ways they could have done this clubbing sound really well. Like I get it. It's the summer. You know, Brad was on everybody's inspo boards. Yes, I it's not that I don't see it. It's just I feel like people misunderstood the assignment a little bit. The appeal of Brad and that sound was how much it decided not to give a fuck, and how much it decided to refresh and add new value to the kind of sound that was popular 20 years ago. Between this song and a couple of the other songs we've been getting recently, like Drop Top, for example, it feels like we kind of missed that middle chunk and just decided to just bring back 2000s millennial dance pop. And like I guess that's one way to go about it. It's just with this track in particular, it really feels like to me the top lines are a little too predictive. It's not very interesting. It's not something 17 is good at with all this rap. And then on top of that, you have the situation where like all the motifs in the song that I mentioned, like the whistling, the gliding bass, and the deep house stabs, none of it sounds good together for me personally. The deep house stabs don't belong in this genre. The whistling is too stereotypical, and the gliding bass is the only thing that's adding any glue to this song. But it's not. I don't think it's mixed particularly well, and it just keeps repeating itself the entire track. So I don't know. Doug, I cut you off. Sorry. What's up?
No. If to me the whole like chorus, we're there's a bang. It's supposed to be a banger. Just felt a little empty to me. You know what I mean? Like I just thought we were missing some MSG because like I'm thinking we're doing a Matrix-esque club song. You gotta be a little grimy in here or something, right? We gotta give some more than just like hello. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
I wrote in my notes rather draggy and a little boring at the chorus. And this is what I'm saying about this is what in the flip side you have Tilt, which is a lot more repetitive. It decides not to do any of that vocal thing. This track did. And I think Tilt made the right move. Thunder, I think there's ways you could have pulled it off. I don't know if this was it, personally speaking.
It's like
yeah.
In this genre, okay, so I used to be really into like techno music back in high school. By the way,
yeah,
if you didn't know,
everyone here knows about your little hobby and your little turntable.
There's like techno songs back then, like classic ones that are just repetitive as shit, but they're still amazing. Like Satisfaction, right? Like that's a very simple sound, but it just sounds so grimy that it's good, you know. And on this song, there's zero grime. It feels way too clean to me. And I think that's a problem. And like going back to my original point with 17, it's like, okay, Love Money Fame, Maestro was good. We got God of Music. But even the units, right? Which I don't think like the Cheongbaji song, right? Didn't do all too well. And then we had the Hoshi Uzi Beam song, didn't do particularly amazing either, right? I'm just surprised because they are okay, to be fair, they are still selling a shit ton of albums across all fronts, right?
Yeah.
We're still selling an absolute metric crap ton of albums across all fronts. But to me, it's just like, I'm used to getting like banger after banger after banger, right? And it just feels like this past little stretch, to me has been like, I don't know, you know, a little confusing. That's just my view of it. But that being said, I know there's other people on the server who think this song's like an all-time classic, right? They're entitled to that as well.
Here's what I'll say. Like, kind of like last week, I feel like if you're a 17 fan, I think obviously you'll have good fun with this. I think there's a lot of moments where like 17 members are being at their best. And I think like Woozy, for example, I'm getting some classic Woozy from him. You know what I mean? Like there's definitely stuff to be said there. And on top of that, if you have a nostalgia for that 2000s millennial dance pop music, if you miss David Guetta, you know, like this will be up your alley, man. Like you know what I mean?
True.
Like
That's true.
It is a bit of a K-pop take on that kind of sound. So like, I'm not saying there's like this is bad creatively. I'm just saying it's not what I'm interested in at the moment, nor what I think is, you know, interesting to me. I think I said the same thing twice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Quick aside, speaking of techno, I've been listening to Avicii these days for some reason.
Oh?
Those are some
Wow.
classics, dude. R.I.P. to Avicii, dude. I was looking at like these nights. It's 10 years old now, by the way. So there's that. It made me feel very old. I was at work and I was like, oh, Avicii, that was my guy. But R.I.P. Okay. Other releases this week include Black Swan, I Like It Hot, Kick Flip Freeze was the only two. It was a kind of a slow week other than the main ones. We're at SojuScore. Last week, episode 327, during the mega episode, we had P1 Harmony Dub with a 5.92, Meow Drop Top 4.85, Triple S Are You Alive with a 6.52, Boy Next Door I Feel Good 6.29, Rise Fly Up 5.30, Idol Good Thing with a 6.35. The three songs we're gonna score this week are SHINee Poet Artist, we got Irene Seulgi with Tilt, and we got 17 with Thunder, and I'll get the graphic going. All right, first song, we got SHINee Poet Artist. I was debating between a couple scores on this one, but I settled on giving this a 7.5, which is not a score I can give.
You can't do that.
That's not allowed.
I'm gonna give this one a 7. I did enjoy it, but I don't think it's an all-time like SHINee classic, so I'm gonna give it a 7.
Doug.
But I enjoyed what they did, and I thought it was very tasteful.
That's perfectly fine, Doug, because I also gave it a 7.
Okay.
I had a really good time. I was a little caught off guard when I heard Jonghyun's vocals for the guide, because I didn't think we were going to get a full section for it, so that was really cool. But yeah, I don't think I liked Starlight. Shout out to Starlight. This is the B-side that's also released with this single a little bit more, so check that one out too, but this is still really good.
I'm happy to say I complete the triangle. I also have a 7. It was really good stuff.
777.
SojuTalk Nation and Gochu Gang also voted. They gave it a 7.18. So we're all kind of in agreement with an average score of 7.04. That's the score.
Good
next one. Irene and Seulgi with Tilt. I got this one. I'm not the biggest fan of the chorus, but I like the song. I want to give it a 6.5, but I can't. I gave this one a 6 because I think the SHINee one's better. Not a 3. 6. Oh no, not a 3 again. A 6. Okay.
Okay. I gave it a 7. I enjoyed this as well. I think it's a different vibe than the SHINee song, of course, but this was nice. I'm so glad they went for a more of what they had done with Naughty and kind of explore that a little further, because I really like that. I like this iteration as well. I'm looking forward to the live stages. I want to see that dance.
I am happy to admit I also enjoyed it as a 7. It was, I don't know, I felt like it was very vibey, very good. I love the mood they came out with. I really thought there was a lot of good drive that they were pulling together. I made some mean comments on Irene today, but on the other hand, like, she still did a lot better of a job than I think a lot of the vocalists in this industry could. So there you go.
I was gonna make a joke. Good thing I didn't. I'll tell you guys during the break. It was rough. All right.
Now you have to tell everybody. The listeners are here.
I was gonna make some kind of joke about getting yelled at like a stylist or something, but I didn't.
No, Doug. What's the final score?
What's the nation score?
The final nation score. is a 6.59. Like his nation score is 6.36. Final score is a 6.59. Let's just keep going. That didn't happen. So sometimes I have these urges in my head to say something really inflammatory, and I can't control
she
myself.
She said
guys.
sorry.
I know. That's why we love Irene still. We got 17 here with Thunder. I was honestly a bit whelmed by this one. My reasoning was the expectation but I was thinking if I had any other like boy group and I had given them this song, I was also thinking about my rating. I didn't think it was horrendous, but I don't think it was very great. I gave it a 5.
Okay. I feel a little better because I was between a 5 and a 6. I don't know. To be honest, in the last couple runs, the last couple comebacks that they've had, I preferred God of Music. Maestro and Love, Money, Fame were not really my thing. And this one, it's also not quite my thing. So, I think I'm going to give it a... But see, I like the performance. I like the energy.
Give it a 6.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna see the live stages. I'm gonna watch, so it's 6.
I'm glad you gave it a 6 because I have to feel less guilty about giving it a 4. It was personally not my thing. I don't know. It felt a little too predictive, a bit draggy. Yeah, not my thing personally. Sorry.
All right, and then the SojuTalk Nation and Gochu Gang gave it a 5.72. So as a result.
Okay.
17's Thunder receives a 5.18, which, I think that's about where it is. So that wraps up SojuScore. The scores for this week were SHINee Poet Artist with a 7.04. Did not make Hall of Spice, but it did get reasonably close. We have Irene and Seulgi Tild, 6.59. 17 Thunder with a 5.18. And then finally, we have show winners. Anita, hit us with them.
Yes, we have 2. First up, we have Boy Next Door with I Feel Good. They won on M Countdown, Music Bang, Show Music Core, and Inkigayo. So 4 wins for them so far. Congrats. And then you have Triple S with Are You Alive? They won on the show and shown champion. So 2 wins.
Nice.
Congrats to them.
Nice.
All right, that ends part 1. So just like episode 329. We'll be back after a short break. 3, 2, 1.
Hello, SojuTalk Nation. This is Anita here with a quick PSA. If you would like to support SojuTalk Kpop Podcast, please like, subscribe, or follow us on whatever platform you're using. And consider joining our Patreon at patreon.com/SojuTalk or donating to us at paypal.me/SojuTalk. On behalf of the crew and myself, thank you. Now back to our regularly scheduled episode.
All right, we are back at it. Part 2 of SojuTalk episode 329 with some news and events from the past week. So, YG, the company and the man himself, released one of those like YG talking to the camera news videos. Like he's giving you what's gonna happen in YG going forward. It's on YouTube. Has like 2 million views in one day, more or less.
Boy.
The biggest news to come out of this was number 1. YG Entertainment's new girl group is composed of 4 members, and all members have already been selected. The new members will be introduced one by one soon.
Sorry, what? What?
What?
No, what? He didn't say that. Did he?
I feel like, okay, we're getting this Blackpink World Tour going on. They're about to come back. I feel like Baby Monster is starting to get good relevance going in the game, right? Among their peers. Mm-hmm. And then we're debuting a new girl group with 4 members.
I don't understand the timing at all.
Yeah, saying what?
What is going on?
What?
What is going on?
What? No. What?
And then I saw people discussing, well, is Baby Monster made up of the best of their trainees? Or are these 4 girls even more ridiculous? That's what I saw people talking about.
I feel like that should not even be a conversation.
I know, but I saw that's the discussion people having. But the main discussion is that, like, so soon after Baby Monster? Didn't they just debut a year and a half, 2 years ago at the most?
Yeah, no, Baby Monster debuted April 1st, 2024. It's been a little over a year now.
That's too soon. What's going on?
Okay. Look, I know we have. I know Baby Monster tends to be the group that we shit on a lot, but
I like Baby Monster.
If there are any Monsties out here, if you are one of the Baby Monster fans, are you concerned?
I'm concerned.
I would be too.
I'm concerned about my girl Chiquita, my girl Rami. Dude, I'm concerned about all the good kids in this group. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. I'm very confused. Let's keep going.
Okay.
We could talk about it again because they said on May 28th, in 2 days at midnight, they're going to introduce the group. So we have an announcement of the announcement.
That's so soon.
Oh, in 2 days, we're gonna start getting these people's names and faces.
Yeah, the first member is gonna be announced in 2 days.
Okay, all right. It's happening. It's apparently set in stone. There we go.
Now, if this was like sort of like the treasure, the show that made Baby Monster, where they're like, yeah, we're gonna slow roll this. We're gonna announce a show. We're gonna do a show. They'll debut like next year in the fall. I could get that. You know what I mean? But it seems like we're rushing this shit out as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I don't know if this is something we need to do. We need to be doing this fast.
Why? I have so many questions. Why?
I guess we'll find out. Yeah, all right. Give it a day or two.
About more groups. So they also plan to debut a new boy group next year. Oh.
Okay, I mean, this one is a little more understandable. Like, Treasure's been around for a couple years now. They're
five.
Yeah.
5 years?
They debuted in 2020. Like, it feels longer because of the situation they had leading up to their debut.
If you're a Treasure fan, this one's a little alarming because it seems like, you know how Treasure's done well. They've sold a decent amount, but it's never like really picked up a ton of traction. I mean, like, to be fair, their thing in March sold 800K, right? So there is a lot of relevancy in terms of sales, but in terms of like a song of theirs going super viral, other than like some of them after the fact, right? Like Jikjin got pretty big as well. That's the one I wanted to say, right? Some of the songs have gotten viral later, but like I don't feel like they got the most relevancy, and we're debuting a new boy group while we're like this. That seems rough, right? Yeah. Okay. People are wondering maybe one of these two groups, the girl group or the guy group, isn't a traditional K-pop group. You know what I mean? Maybe it's not.
That's possible.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be more open to that. You know, maybe it's like
it could be a rap quartet or maybe it's a ballad group. We don't know. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
we never know.
So
we'll see.
We're gonna have to see about that. Next thing. So Blackpink's comeback will be announced soon. So they're officially confirming it's gonna happen, guys, along with the tour. It's happening.
All right.
Okay.
Be ready for that. And then Baby Monster plan to release a new song July 1st, mini album on October 1st. So there's your Baby Monster news for pretty much the whole year right there. That's what you're getting. Getting a single in July and a mini album in October called Hot Sauce. So that's what you're getting for them. And then finally, Treasure is getting a mini album in September. So you're going to have to wait because they did come back in March. So you're going to have to wait for that. Yeah.
This guy needs to start doing those like one more thing moments, like Apple, like like, and there's one more thing. Woo!
Has anyone in K-pop ever done like a video and announced, oh yeah, the thing's out right now? You know, like has anyone pulled one of those? Or is it too much of a risk?
Like they announce something that's already released? What do you mean?
Like, you know how like sometimes like a singer or a video game will be like especially at video game conventions, there'll be a director on the stage. Like recently it happened with the Oblivion remake. They're like, and it's out now, by the way. So you could go and play it right now. Like they announced something and it's out instantly.
We're
like,
making it
has
available
anyone ever done that?
right now, May 26th. It's free
or it's gonna be out.
Research
or they're like,
version.
guys, it's gonna be out in 1 hour. Just get ready. You know, the new song's gonna drop in an hour.
I mean, you know, we haven't been doing these keynote style announcements from K-pop so much yet.
And that's true. The most I've seen of a of a Depyo has been the JYP Church YouTube channel, which I still watch from time to time.
gosh.
But,
Why?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's interesting.
Good.
I just think he's a fascinating person. He also, I don't know if it's in my news. Did I ever put it? He got invited to Waterbomb. If you don't know, he's going to
did?
Waterbomb. Yeah.
Okay.
JYP, and he was
JYP
asking
and
people
Waterbomb.
like, what kind of outfit should I wear? And everyone's been telling him to wear vinyl, all vinyl.
No. No,
So,
dear.
yeah, so JYP, the man himself, is going to Waterbomb. It should be wild. All right, let's keep going.
All right, Poppy.
Next thing, SM Entertainment became the second largest shareholder of Great M Entertainment, home of 82 Major.
Oh.
Interesting.
I'm not the most aware of this whole situation, but I guess SM's back to acquiring other companies, right?
Yeah, back to getting more sub-labels in a way.
It is really interesting because Great M, I'm looking at it right now, is founded by someone called Kim Young-sun, who her background is in FNC. She used to be one of their senior managers. And 2020, she created Great M Entertainment, at which point it was the managing label for Choa.
Choa, oh, that's one of my original biases.
It still is for Choa. And then you got 82 Major under here. Other than that, there's not too much going on. So this is pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
business news. Next thing we got. So, I don't know why they had to announce this, but representatives for Lee Jong-suk and IU stated that they're still together despite multiple breakup rumors. So they came out and said they're still together. Yeah, so that's
Didn't know
good,
there were rumors.
good for them. Good for them.
Good. Yeah.
Bad for all the Pak Bo-gum IU shippers, I guess. Bad for them. Let's keep going. Next one. Mnet has recently completed the first recording of Boys to Planet. Not Boys to Men, Boys to
Oh.
Planet. I don't know why.
Planet.
They better not. They better hope they don't get sued. But the first episode will premiere on July 17th for Boys to Planet K, and then on July 18th with Boys to Planet C. I forgot that they're doing two
I
shows.
forgot to.
The Korean and the Chinese thing. Yes, I remember hearing this.
Oh, wait,
Oh,
elaborate.
dear.
I completely forgot. There's 2 shows?
There's a Korean one and a Chinese one, and we don't know to what extent they're connected.
Interesting.
They're gonna be airing simultaneously though, so I think
Yes.
at the same time they're gonna end around the same time too, and then they're gonna form one group. I forget how it's gonna work out, or if there's gonna be another show after that to make a singular group. I don't know, but
Hey, if
I
you know, let
remember
us
covering this a
know,
while ago.
because I remember that we covered that at some point. But yep,
Interesting.
Boys to Planet on July 17th.
to
If you're
Planet.
excited for that. Next one. So, okay, this was a big one. So, New Jeans Danielle posted something on Instagram with Emotional Oranges, who's a producing people, right? And it was on it was Danielle was in their studio of these Emotional Oranges people, and people were like, what the F? Are we getting a solo comeback? What are we getting? Everyone was freaking out. Turns out they're like, no, we're working with her sister, who is a singer at the time. Yeah.
oh yes.
So that's what it was clarifying. They're like, we are not working with Danielle. Do not sue us. We're chill. We're chill. We're working with her sister, not her. So that's what it read like to me. They were like, don't sue us. Like, we're not breaking any rules here. Yeah. So it was
Okay.
non-news actually. Okay, next thing. But New Jeans did add 13 lawyers for their legal battle with the door over the contract validity.
13. Is that a lot? I don't really know.
That's a whole. It's probably another. They probably brought in another firm, right?
That
to work
sounds
with
like a
them.
lot of people, yeah.
Oh my.
13 lawyers, okay.
13 more on top of whoever else is representing them. So it's going. We're in the thick of it. Next thing, From Miss 9 comeback in June confirmed.
Oh,
Ooh.
We got 5 members, but we're from Miss 9. Also, what's her? I always forget her name. This one.
Cheong?
Chaeyoung, she's extremely popular right now. Oh,
Good.
Yeah.
Good for her.
yeah, I see her all
Particular
over the
reason?
place.
She was on Variety a bunch on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
She started there was like a Korean YouTuber called Mimi Minu that she had good chemistry with.
Oh,
And they started
Yes,
making
yes,
fun of
yes.
each other. On the flip side, she went viral because she looked like a pretty bully. And
I
people
think
are
I've
like,
heard this before.
yeah, people are like,
Yeah.
people are like, I want to be bullied by this girl. That will be very.
And she
Okay.
also has like she signed a little bit by Hanwha, the league team, and she's in a lot of their content as well. And she took a break and she got re-signed. I'm assuming now that she's not at Pledis, or what was was their company Pledis?
Yeah.
It was at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that she's kind of a free agent, she's back with Hanwha making content with them as well. So
Wow,
just kidding.
okay.
That's like a solo deal now essentially. So yeah, so they're pretty relevant. I'm excited. Hey, Baekjeon, let's go Baekjeon. Woo! Okay. And then finally, so there was an investigation, Songbino of Witter. It's now the negligence of his mandatory public service is going to prosecution. So that means even further investigation, and he might get like deep shit for it now. It's beyond the point of just like, did he actually do this? It's like, yeah, now we really got to look into what happened.
Yeah, that's not good.
And then they said traditionally, if the individual neglected their duties more than 8 days, they might have to face penalties as harsh as 3 years in prison, according to
I was
the
gonna
law.
say, does this mean jail time? But
It could potentially.
Really?
Potentially.
it could be.
Yeah, Korea
Yeah.
is a little strong about this. This is something they're very sensitive about. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, before we move on to the final thing, Warren, I just wanted to bring this up to you. I forgot to before the show.
Oh, what's up?
Which Korean rapper has Doug been into over the past week? Guess. It's like completely out of left field.
Past week?
Yeah, I've listened to this person's songs for the past like 3 days. But I was just like, who the F is this person?
Give me a hint. Give me a hint.
They were on Show Me the Money 10.
There's like a million of these fuckers. I don't know. A K?
Mud the Student.
Oh. I mean,
I for some reason I watched like a bunch of Show Me the Money auditions and round 2 stuff.
Uh-huh.
And it was very interesting, whatever they were doing.
He randomly showed up.
The student.
Mud the
They randomly
student.
showed up, and I was like, "Wow, this guy's crazy. What's going on here?"
He
And it
he
was
did have a
interesting.
very impressive second round, and
That's what I saw. I
Yeah.
was like, "That shit was amazing." Whatever this round 2 was.
yeah, he had a very interesting beat, and he just went off.
Yeah. I just wanted to bring that up to you. I forgot before the show.
Yeah, no,
But,
good stuff. Good stuff.
all right, lads, we're gonna pivot to the final thing, right?
All right, transition. Hi, guys, class. We're doing show and tell today. We're all gonna go around. We're gonna talk about our favorite shows that we've been watching on television. I asked everybody to prepare a lovely little slide deck so we have some visuals for the class.
Anita forgot.
I'm so sorry.
Someone didn't do their homework, so we had to
did
start
something,
recording
though.
late.
I have something to show.
Okay, well, Doug, do you want to go first? Share with the class?
Yeah. So if you're on the Discord, you see me talking in the KTV film channel about a certain show. I'm gonna be talking about it. Let's go to my slide. Number one, look at how nice my presentation is, guys. Look
This
at
is
these
really good,
effects I
Doug.
found. This
Yeah,
is cool, and
yeah.
it matches the theme of the poster. Is why I wanted to do
Yeah.
purple.
Very purple.
That was my
Nice.
whole plan here. So what I'm gonna present to you is the show I've been watching lately. I know who won. I know everything. I gotta watch the finale, but there's reasons why I haven't watched it yet. That's all I'll say. But
Okay.
the first thing is the what I'm presenting is Devil's Plan Death Room, which is the second season of Devil's Plan. It aired on May 6th to not May 30th. That's wrong. It finished this week.
Yeah,
So
it
I
was
think
Yeah.
it's to the 19th, I believe, actually.
Pretty
It came
recently.
out.
It's the 20th.
20th. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
May 6th to May 20th on Netflix. So you're going to need a subscription. It is extremely hard to find this. Like, okay, here's an aside, guys. Here's my illegal aside. It's extremely hard to find this illegally. If you do, episode 10 is corrupted, which sucks. So you're gonna have to get a Netflix person anyway.
Oh my god, just get a Netflix.
So I had
interesting that you know.
I had my brother-in-law here over the weekend. I had him log into his Netflix so I could watch episode 10.
Oh my god.
But there's 12 episodes. They're all about an hour and a half to 2 hours each. So it's a lot of content, guys. It's about 20 hours plus of content. Cool. What is the genre of this show? This was on the Namu Wiki, how Koreans are explaining the show. Brain games, survival, real variety. So what does that mean? Brain games. The main games you're playing on this show are smart person games that require logic and the thinking and things like that. So it's like smart quiz games, sort of like board games type games. That's what you're playing on this show.
Lots of like person to person dynamics, like political games, that sort of thing.
Yeah, survival. So this show has 14 contestants and it slowly gets whittled down to one winner. That's why it's survival. Real variety is sort of what Warren means there. There's a really big social aspect of this game where you're making alliances. You could potentially betray people. You're working together at times, but other times you're trying to get people off of the show. It's like Survivor in that sense, where there's a big social aspect of it's like Survivor, but with board games is the best way to describe this show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this show was the PD of the show was Jung Jong-yeon, also known as JJY online. He's made shows like The Genius, which is a show that's very similar to this one, more or less the predecessor of this show. The Great Escape, which was an escape room show, and High School Mystery Club, which was a female cast that sort of did like a mystery style escape room type exploration show as well. So this is his bread and butter. He's the best at making these types of programs.
So it's like a game show. People are playing a lot of games. People get eliminated, kind of like produce that sort of thing, right? Yeah.
And they have to live on the set. That's why this is interesting. You live on the set for the week, more or less.
So like they bring their like suitcases with clothing and shit.
With clothing, and some people don't get to live in beds every day, so they don't get to live in nice conditions as well. So there's an aspect of that.
Damn.
It's mentally taxing, physically taxing, emotionally, socially taxing is the way this show kind of goes.
Damn.
Taxing overall.
Lots of taxes.
Yeah. And as you can see in the poster, we got the contestants here. It's a dice because it's a lot of like board games, gambling and that sort of things involved in this. And these gold things you're seeing on the screen are called pieces. It's the main currency of the game. The more you have, the better you're doing. If you run out of them, you go home. That's the way the show runs.
I will admit, I've seen about half of the show. My mom was watching it when I was in Michigan, so I sat down and watched with her. It's a little exhausting, like following all the little plot points
and rules.
Right. Yeah. It's a little exhausting, but it's very rewarding when you do figure out what's going on. It's really cool.
I'll put it this way: on a face values, at this point in these types of shows, they're very complicated now. So sometimes it's best to like have a remote, or I use a keyboard and I pause and I listen to the rules a couple times. So I do that kind of thing. Or some people I know have a notepad and like to write things down as the show's going on.
Yeah.
But it's rewarding when you get invested yourself, because when someone has like a 400 IQ moment, you're like, holy shit, this person's a god, And there are certain celebrities like Jang Dong-min in Korea who's made a living and a reputation on being good on these types of shows. He's considered like a god at survival shows, because he's pulled off such ridiculous things.
There were moments where some of these games that they played, there were like little twists in the rules that the members had to like figure out during the game. And there were I was like following along. I was like taking notes, like full disclosure. I was taking notes on a little notepad while I was watching, because like I saw the participants do the same thing on the show, and I was like, I should just do the same thing so I can follow along. And then I figured out some like hidden rules that before they figured that out, and once that actually became a hidden rule, I was like, oh my god, my IQ is so high. I'm a smart man.
I'm so smart. I would win this show. I would wreck them.
I would have beat everybody.
Yeah, so it's a pretty, it's like I had a headache last week on one of the days. We didn't watch the show. You got to be fully engaged to watch this type of program. This is not a second screen show. This is a main screen, has your full attention type of show.
200%.
Rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to go to the next slide?
Let's keep going. So the next one I made about the cast. There's 14 cast members this year. Last year there was 12. They surprisingly added 2 more. Here are some people you might know. Chu You know, from Luna. She's on this show this year.
You
That's kind of cool.
misspelled her name. Chu has 2 U's, dog.
This is from NamuWiki. I didn't write it.
Oh, what?
It's like it's on the English version of NamuWiki. It's translated like this, so don't blame me.
Okay.
Next one, Kyuhyun from Super Junior, but he's mostly doing musicals these days in Variety. So there's his nice picture over there. Next one, this was the surprise casting of the year, Anita. They probably blew the budget. Lee Se-dol, who's a famous Baduk or Korean chess player, and he's the guy who versed AlphaGo, the AI, like 5-10 years ago.
Yes.
So that guy's on the show. That was a big surprise when he came out. And then finally, this girl's name is Lee Seung-hyun. She was Miss Korea 2022.
Damn.
Ooh.
And I believe she's a Seoulde or KAIST graduate. So the people that they cast on the show typically have extensive backgrounds. They also do open casting. So like 3 or 4 of the contestants are non-celebrities. They're just really smart people. Like, for instance, you have a poker player. We have a board game YouTuber. We have an announcer. We have an actress, you know, there's a lawyer. We got so many different diverse cast members.
There was like a random, like a senior high school kid who was like really fucking smart. He was really like he was a very smart kid, and he was kind of cute to look at.
We got a plastic surgeon. We have like a very diverse cast. It's a lot of fun. But these are the 4 you might recognize. Boom. All right. Let's go. This is the game flow of the show. Okay.
Oh, jeez.
I made a flow chart. Follow along with me. If you're at home and you're listening to this, you might want to go on YouTube because it'll probably be better. But the first thing, you start on the show, right? We're on day 1, right? We all show up to the show. We enter the living hall, which is on the top left of the screen, right?
Oh.
Living hall is this nice, beautifully well-lit place. It has rooms. It has catering, Anita. This is where you want to be. This is a nice, relaxing place. There's a gym. There's beds. There's catering. There's board games. There's nice couches. This is where you enter the show. It's nice. It's calm. It's cool. Then what happens is you go to the main hall, which is on the top right, where you play the main game of the day. The objective of the game, I said, is to win these pieces, which you could see in the little blurb up there, right? The more pieces you get, the better. Because after the main match, if you're rich, you go back to the nice area, right? If you're poor, you go to prison.
Oh shit! Wait.
Oh my.
So you just get imprisoned if you're poor. What the fuck?
If you're poor on this show, yeah, literally. If you're poor, you end up in prison. In prison, for dinner, you're eating bread. For breakfast, you're eating rice porridge. That's it. That's all you get in prison.
And it's not like good bread either. They just randomly give you like a little loaf of like.
Yeah, that's what you're eating in prison. So this is a new thing this year. That's why this show is called Death Room, because when you're in prison, right? Every night that you're in prison, you go to the death room where we play a game and one person gets sent home. So you don't want to be in the death room. Yeah. But if you survive the death room, you go back to prison and you await the next day to go back to the game hall and do this all over again.
Wow.
So that's pretty much how this show works. But I also, if you look on the right side of the screen, ways to go home. You could go home in the death room, which is like you lost the main game and you lost the death room, you going home, right?
Damn.
But there's also, in a lot of these games, there's interesting ways or quirks where you could also send people home during the main game of the day. So you're not just safe there. You're not just trying to win pieces. You could also be sent home during the main game of the day.
This sounds stressful.
Yeah.
How
and then
how poor do you have to be to end up in prison?
This season, if you're the bottom half of currency, you go to prison. So, yeah. And honestly, that's the main critique of this season, is it ends up being a lot of tribalism. Rich people, poor people, right? But it's still exciting, though, because with all things, it's not just this. I didn't include the other ways to go home. There's surprises. There's weird things that happen. There's big turnarounds. There's windfalls. A bunch of crazy shit can happen during this show. There's escape room elements. There's finding treasure. There's all this stuff can happen on this show, Anita. So it's pretty exciting. Yeah, so that's the base layout. And then my final thoughts, right? Number 1, entertaining program, good balance of social and smarts. There's a ton of second watch potential because when you know things, you go, oh my God, I can't believe they did this, right? Or this person would have won if they had just done this here. Or they're starting to think about betraying them here. Can you believe it, right? A lot of that going on if you watch it a second time. surprises, as I said, escape room elements, catch-up mechanics, people betray each other. Everything, you're allowed to do anything on this show, but physical violence and stealing. Everything else is allowed.
I will admit, yeah, like they make it very clear that you should do everything you can, like whether it's like something shitty or like something right to win the game. They're like very encouraging of like betraying and like stuff like that, like ganging up and like little kids, that kind of thing.
And then I said, also, you could check out season 1, which is also on Netflix. 17 Sungwan was on season 1.
Oh.
And there's a huge difference in format between the first and second season. Like, in season 2, they adjusted the games and the format a lot based on what happened on season 1, and it's pretty evident. And then other brain survival shows, I got a link here. It's to the Namu wiki. It just shows a list of these type of shows, but the ones I would recommend, the original Genius series is good. Bloody Game is like a even more intense version of this show. There's more physical challenges, and they live even shittier on that show. Like that one, like
is that the rough. One? Is that the one that's called like Peak Game?
Yeah, like that one. God. They literally made them live in an abandoned parking structure in the summer at night, and it was hot. God. Yeah, that one.
They straight up send you out to a little basement where there's like no beds and nothing.
Yeah, that show's intense. Yeah. And then finally, the last one I got is College War, which is just it's a smart person quiz show between big colleges like Seoulde, Yonsei.
I've seen clips of this.
Yeah, it's a really fun show. And then this season they had a team Oxford and Harvard show up as well.
Wow.
So it's an international as well. So that one's fun. So that's my thoughts on Devil's Plan. Right. That has been my presentation.
Devil's Plan 2, Douglas. Your rating out of 10.
I'm going to say, as a base viewer to go in and start watching, I'm not going to spoil anything. I would say 8 or a 9. I would give it.
That's really good.
I thought it was better than season 1.
Wow. Okay.
As a whole.
Okay.
I know there are some controversies with how it turned out.
Oh yeah. Also, another aspect of the show is if you do something really socially not okay in Korea on this show, people get so pissed. And they leave you shit comments and akpul and all this stuff. And it happened this season. Someone like made a couple people made some party fouls according to Koreans and their culture, and people are not happy about it. So you'll see if you watch the show. Yeah.
Damn. All right. Thank you for your presentation, Doug. Yay! Yay! Everybody in class clap. Clap. Okay.
Yay.
All right, Doug, come sit back down. Get off the yeah. Anita, it's your turn.
Oh, it's my turn.
Did you forget did you remember your homework today? What's going on here?
I did my homework, but I didn't have the slides ready. So I have something to show. So I have some slides. They're just a little subpar.
Bruh.
But yeah, we can go through them.
I remember like right before we started recording, Doug sent a link to the PowerPoint. And then Anita goes, "Oh wait, do I need to make slides? Question mark. And I'm like, bruh.
I was stressing out, but I had notes. I just needed to make it into the slides version. So apologies for my visual.
2 movies and a book.
Yes. So I didn't have a show that I was really into or that I was actively watching at the moment. I watch a lot of films though, and I've been reading quite a bit. I have a goal for the year to hit at least 25 books this year.
Wow. That's 2 a month.
So I have correct.
At least. Yeah.
So I have 2 movies I want to talk about in a book series that I've been enjoying. So we can go to the next slide. So the content I'm going to talk about is first one's going to be The Witch 2. The other one, it was a film. The next one is Mother, also a film. And then the final one is The 12 Kingdoms, which is a book series.
Interesting.
Correct. First one, The Witch 2, the other one. Originally released in 2022, so a couple years back. It's directed by Park Hoon-jung. He originally, so this is a sequel, very obviously, from The Witch Subversion. This was released in 2021, so 2021 or 2020. So it was about a year or 2 in between. So pretty quick in the sequel. And it kind of follows, I don't want to give a lot of spoilers to this because I think most of the movies that I talk about are very they hinge on the audience not really knowing what's going on.
Oh.
And it gets revealed throughout the film. So the gist of it, have gist about these films. The gist for this one is that it's basically action sci-fi involving human experiments. So a secret human experiment program.
You gotta
Korea.
watch number 1 first, right? You would say.
You do. You definitely do.
Oh.
Because for this one, it picks up like right away from where we started off. There's a little bit of like some context given of like 10 years back prior to the current events, but it starts right away after the events of the first film.
So you're not recommending 2 movies and 1 book series today. You're actually recommending 3 movies and 1 book series.
I guess, yes, because okay, so let me get into my take
Okay.
because
All right, drop your takes.
my take for this film, it's definitely hinges on everything that happened in the first film. It like not only plot wise, but like a lot of the mystery, the suspense is meant to carry over from the first film because there's not a lot of that in this film on its own. You need to know like everything, like characters from the previous film, like plot devices that happened in the previous film to really get it. Like even to the point where like some of the shots they used in this film are referencing the first one. So I feel like if you didn't see it, if you don't rewatch it, at least to just kind of be familiar with it,
Is
you'll
that
miss
my
a lot of
boy?
it.
Is that my boy Justin Harvey in there? With
Yes.
his top knot? Justin's in this movie.
So
I get it.
yes, this,
He's
this film
a
hinges
white
on
Australian
that.
guy.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a so something that I thought what they did good in this film was that they involved a lot of different groups. Now, like it started in Korea, but now they're alluding to like different programs in different countries, and like this program is bigger than we first thought in the first film. These experiments, and they have a good chunk of the cast is speaking English. And like they're a group, and there's another chunk of the cast in that are like a sect from China, and then you have a group in Korea. So it's like very interesting how they made this even larger. But I feel like this, like I said, this film hinged a lot on the first one, and it leaves more questions than answers because it alludes to a third film in works of this storyline. So
Are they making it or no?
I don't know if production has started, but the way it ends, they're saying there's gonna be another film. There's gonna be another film. It was planned to be open-ended because they want to continue the storyline.
Interesting.
So yes, if you like sci-fi action, that like I wanted to say these 2 films are very, very violent, very bloody, pretty gruesome, like some of the scenes you see. So own discretion on that. But it's, if you like that sort of stuff, very action filled, a lot of like vague, like mystery regarding like science and experiments and that sort of thing, then I think you will enjoy it. I think the series as a whole is interesting. I think this particular film was a little weak because it does carry over a lot from the first one. So that's my 2 cents.
Uyong was in this? Park Eun-bin?
Park Eun-bin. Ooh.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, they have a pretty popular cast, like recognizable cast. Park Eun-bin was in this one.
I'm looking at
Jung-suk
this
was in this
cast.
one.
Wow, Jingu,
Yes.
Kim Dami.
I think Kim Dami was mainly in the
First one.
First one.
Yeah, first part. And it's really funny
Yes.
because like there was a lot of memes when the first part dropped because Kim Dami stars in the movie along with
Cheo-sik.
Yeah, Cheo-sik, and like they're not friendly with each other. They fight a lot. And then later on, they start together in the drama Our Beloved Summer, and now they're lovers. It's like, well, which is it? Are you guys getting along? Or are you guys fighting? Anyways, Anita, rating out of 10. Go.
This one, just this sequel,
Which
I would
to the
I
other
would
one,
give
yeah.
it I would give it a 6. out of
Okay.
10.
Oh, 6 out of
Okay.
10? Okay. It's not very
5
high.
or 6. It's not. Yeah, I prefer the first one if I'm being
Oh,
honest.
can
but
I revise my rating? My 8 or 9 is for the first 10 episodes of the season. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say.
Given
took a
the
turn.
controversy, I understand.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Should we go to the next one?
Yes.
Oh, this is a
The next one.
classic. This is a classic.
It is a classic one.
Yes, the next film that I want to talk about is called Mother. It was released in 2009. Director is Bong Joon. Did I spell it right?
Bong
Joon-ho,
Joon-ho?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bang.
Bong Joon-ho. Famously known for directing Parasite. And if you've seen some of his films, this also carries a lot of that. How should I say it? Like very like disturbing, like kind of commentary and like society, like what's right, what's wrong, kind of thing. The gist of it, I would say, is it's a murder mystery and it involves a widow and her mentally disabled son, and they kind of get embroiled in this case, and she kind of has to go through certain lengths, or like what are the lengths that a mother should go to defend and like prove his innocence. I don't want to say more because I also found like the way the story was told and like how you get more information about what happened in this case, like very, very interesting. Like you think one thing and then it turns out it's another. Yeah, so I won't say too much on how it works out, but very disturbing. I think there was also like rated R, like very like
Anita,
explicit
what are you
scenes.
telling us here?
Yeah,
Is this a cry for help?
what is my takeaway here? You gotta
Here's the
explain a
thing.
little more.
For this film.
Sure, yeah.
Well, okay. I feel like I wanted to explain it in the sense that the disturbing scenes, like the way that it's presented, it feels very like, how should I say, very real. Like I would say the overall the sense of the film is not trying to be like gory or violent to an extreme, like to be shocking, but it's more like, yeah, this could have happened. Like this might have been in a small town in Korea that around that time. And I think it's made very believable because of the acting. Kim Kye-ja is the mother. Won Bin is the son. I was very impressed with their performances. I was like, the only other film that I've seen from Won Bin was Ajashi, I don't know the title in English, but it's like The Man from Nowhere.
The
I
Man
think
from
is the title.
Nowhere.
Yes.
Yep.
And he's a very different character in that one. So this one was a little bit earlier than The Man from Nowhere, but I just thought it was really cool to see how they portrayed these characters and this scenario that is just like so, I don't know, it really makes you think about like what is right and wrong morally, and like what would a mother do? Like what would you do if you were in this situation? Like was it right? Was it wrong? Yes, so I think it's very thought-provoking, even though it is disturbing, but I feel like it's disturbing because it feels like it could be real. Like,
Can I provide a little bit more context? Just
sure.
I love the
sure.
movie.
Spoiler
too.
alert.
Yeah, just a little bit more. It's not really a spoiler. It's like the basic premise.
Okay.
It's the widow, the son. The son has a mental illness. There is a murder mystery going on, and the mother is trying to figure out how she behaves in the situation. If you guys like Hitchcock movies, like classic suspense thrillers, this will be right up that fucking alley. And then on top of that, there's all this ethical questions being thrown at the audiences, just like Anita mentioned. So you got to balance that sort of thing. Top of that, the scenes are very pretty. Just like,
Yeah, cinematography.
oh my god,
Yeah.
they're like Anita mentioned, it's a movie that makes you feel really uncomfortable. And like you gotta go in being ready for that. It's definitely not something for everybody, but if you are,
I knew very little of like, I knew like the very, very basic of what the film was about. There's just a very like, how should I say it? Throughout the film, like the more you figure out like the people involved and like what they have done, and like it just becomes even more depressing. And you're like, how will this cannot end well? Like I got a feeling like halfway through the film, this is not going to end well.
No.
And
I mean,
and I feel
at
like
the end-
it feels real because of that.
It's a Bong film. Bong likes to explore the depth of humanity, and this film
He
does
does.
that.
But
Yeah.
what I will say is like a lot of Bong Joon-ho fans say this is his best film.
I think
Really?
it's up there.
Yeah,
Oh.
like a lot of people, like maybe now that Parasite is out, people might choose that one. But
No,
like,
I think Memories of Murder is better. Personally.
Mary's Murder was good.
I think
I've
that
seen
one's good
one
too.
too.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's probably between those three: Memories of Murder, Mother,
Parasite.
Parasite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good trio.
Anita, give it a score out of 10.
Even though it was very disturbing, I feel like I was left really thinking about like, wait, but like what, like this person and this person, like their intentions. So I would give it an 8.
Okay.
Just beware that it is very
Hey,
disturbing, explicit.
support Korean cinema because they're really struggling right now.
Mm.
It's doing terrible, the industry. But
All right. Final piece of art that you wanted to share with the class.
Yes. Okay, so this one is it's a book series. It's called The 12 Kingdoms. It was first published in Japan in 1992. The author is Ono Fuyumi. Yeah, so this
it's an isekai.
yeah, so okay, the anime adaptation of this, because it's been adapted for a while. Like it was first published in 92, but it was reprinted in the US. And then I think it's being reprinted again this year. It's going to start publication, and then it was adapted to a manga and then anime. But it's been around for a while. It's one of the first isekai adaptations for animation, I want to say.
So isekai, for people at home who's not really sure, is when the main character
Yeah.
is transported to another world, more or less.
Yes.
Yep.
So a character in a whole other world that they're not familiar with, fantasy, epic fantasy story. And it kind of, so the gist, it follows a girl named Yoko, like, and she's sent to this very strange realm. The way it's described in the book, it's like a mixture of like Japan and China and like the older times. And so she's in this realm. She doesn't know why she's there. There's talk of this very like a fate, like that it's her fate to be here. She doesn't understand it, and she's trying to just figure out how to get back home. So it's very typical isekai, like a stranger in a world type of storyline. What I found very interesting about this series, I haven't finished it yet, but it's compiled into four or five volumes, depending on which publication you're reading, which printing version you're reading. I'm in the second volume, but it's just, I feel like when I think of isekais now, like modern day, I feel like it's very lighthearted. Like it can be very like jokesy, very comedic, or at least
Hey,
in
don't
the
be
animes.
shit talking no Konosuba. Come on.
Hey,
Hey, okay,
no.
I just feel like there's a range, right? Like it's not very, it can be very comedic, very lighthearted, or it can be very serious. This leans into the more serious, where it's like really talking about like the hardships of this character and like the persecution of this character because of everything that's going on, and who she's why she's there in this world, and who she is supposed to be in this world. So I thought that was really cool, because I personally have not consumed media or isekai media very much, and I didn't have that perception of it. The characters and the plot devices are really, really likable. Like it makes sense. Like it made sense the way the story is formulated, where nothing feels too easy or too hard for this character to overcome. It feels just right. And the way the plot moves along makes sense. So I would definitely recommend it if you're into this sort of like fantasy, epic fantasy stories. I believe the English translation is up to the fourth or third volume. It's not completely translated, and so there's a new one being published this year with a different publisher. I think the original one was Tokyo Pop, like a while ago. They lost the rights before they could finish the full translation. So I'm looking forward to possibly finishing it once it gets republished.
Isn't it still being released in Japan these days?
I want to say.
Is it actively being written?
I don't
It
think
is.
so because
It is.
Is it?
On Wikipedia it says to present.
Oh, I thought that the original volumes were from 92 to 2001. I don't know if they're doing a republication or if they continue the storyline after the original run. It's possible, but it's been around for a while. I'm not surprised if they are still doing it.
Yeah, I think
It says the first new publication of the series in 6 years was released in 2019. It's ongoing.
Yeah, I think I've heard about this before, and I know there's a fair amount of hype behind the series. Anita, give it a rating out of 10.
So like I mentioned, I haven't completed the series yet.
But based on what you've seen so far.
But I want to give it a 9.
Oh shit. Okay.
This is higher than Mother.
I really enjoyed this. Yes.
You're saying Ono Fuyumi is better than Bang Joon-ho.
That's not what I said.
That's
But-
literally what you said. It's literally what you
That's
said.
not what I said at all.
All right, Warren. talk
Everybody
about-
clap. Everybody clap. Anita, thank you. Show and tell.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna go up, share with the class. A show called Andor. Andor is a Star Wars spin-off drama. It's Disney Plus. You need a Disney Plus. No Netflix. No Peacock. You need that Disney Plus subscription. I've been recommending this show to everybody I know the past 2 or so months. And now you guys are my final piece of that puzzle. I have to recommend it to you guys too now. And everybody, when I'm like, you should see Andor, they're always like, oh, I don't really like Star Wars. I don't know a lot about Star Wars. I don't fucking Darth what? Vader? Force? Jedi? Look, here's the thing. I think Andor is possibly the only show that you could probably enjoy without knowing anything about Star Wars. Period.
Okay.
No Jedi. No Force. No, fuck all that shit. Whatever. Forget about it.
Context.
Here's the context.
need
Here's the
context.
only context you need to know. It is fascism in space right now. It is there's a galactic empire. If you see the guy on the left side there, that is that is the global
Sidious.
That's the leader of the current empire, Darth Sidious, Palpatine, whatever you want to call him. Fact of the matter is, he doesn't even show up in the whole show. He's the big bad, but he doesn't show up. You don't need to.
I have a quick question.
Oh yes,
Sorry.
yes, Anita, go.
Where I guess it doesn't really matter, but where in the timeline does this show take place?
5 years before the events of Rogue One and A New Hope.
Yes, it starts between episode 3 and 4 during the Galactic Empire. And then it builds into the events of Rogue One, where it builds into A New Hope.
So the easiest way for me to describe that, as someone who knows not a ton about Star Wars, but enough, is that this happens somewhere between the old original 3 movies and the modern day 3 movies. Correct?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, if you forget about the Disney Plus sequels. Sorry, Disney sequels. Yeah. It happens between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. So, it's after Anakin became Darth Vader. They're out there being very mean. They're, being...
Oh, wait, I completely mentally forgot about the most recent 3 movies.
Yeah, because they're fucking shit. They're fucking terrible.
I completely forgot. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
To be very honest with you, this is the only Disney Star Wars media that I'm willingly able to recommend to anybody out there.
Okay.
Obi-Wan, I'm not recommending that to anybody. I love Obi-Wan, but no.
So they're having to do with the crushing bureaucratic fist of the Empire, right?
Okay.
Is that what's going on?
Here's the thing. The background and information that you should be aware of is that it's the Empire. Empire is not nice. It's very oppressing, very, no.
Down with the Empire.
Yeah, down with the Empire. It's very political. It's a spy drama. It's a political drama.
Oh.
It's a little less about sci-fi and a little bit more about the politics. The little background image you see here is the meeting room of the Imperial Security Bureau, ISB. So like,
I see. Okay.
it's a fucking meeting room shot, and somehow these meeting room shots are so exciting. They're so good.
Really?
They're talking about security updates. It's the fucking best shit you'll ever see. Trust me. Okay, here's what Andor's about. It's about friendship. It's about anthropology, and a secret alliance to overthrow the oppressive dictatorship from the empire.
That makes sense. That's a base. Okay.
Yeah, like look at these two people here. The guy on the left here is called Luthen Rao. The guy and the woman on the right is a person called Mon Mothma. Mon Mothma she's a senator. She's a senator that represents her country. She's very clearly not happy with the way the Republic became an empire. She wants to take it all down. She's like, no. We like democracy. We like democracy here. No. No oppression, please. No dictatorship, please. No fascism. Now, she is good friends with the guy on the left, who, again, is a guy called Luthen. Luthen runs an antique shop. He collects antiques, old cultural assets. He does this thing. But, psych! It's actually Luthen, the rebel, guy in the background who's putting all of this together. It's the antique shop I just talked about. That's a front.
Cover up.
He's a cover up.
How much are you spoiling? It doesn't seem like a main plot point.
This is like you figured this out in the second episode of the whole show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah. Don't worry. I'm
Spoiler alert.
yeah. I'm not gonna spoil too much, but minor spoiler alerts, I guess.
I mean, you are spoiling it technically.
I mean, in all honesty, you meet this version of Luthen first before you meet this version of Luthen.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, don't worry. You'll find it out pretty quickly. Yeah.
Secret identities and whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the whole show revolves around how this rebellion becomes little, people being angry into a full-on effort against the, whole-on empire. You know what I mean? It begins with regular people doing regular things, pissed off because, their livelihood is ruined, to eventually becoming a whole political movement. And this guy named Luthen is one of the main players, a key player in bringing those people together. So, the guy on the right, you see, that's Andor again, played by Diego Luna, great actor. He's like, oh shit, I could actually be something, And the first arc of the show, which is the first 3 or so episodes, is the guy running away from something he did by mistake to actually go help this rebellion. And then you see the other guy on the right here, whose name is Cyril Karn, who is the opposite of the guy I just talked about, of Andor. The good thing of the thing that this show does really, really well is illustrate a lot of realism and breathe a lot of livelihood into all these characters. Because Cyril Karn, this guy I just mentioned, he's a guy that means so well. He's a guy who just wants to do really well in his job. And he thinks the Empire is really good. He's brainwashed as hell. Fuck me. He's brainwashed as hell. He wants to do really good in his job. So he goes over the top to catch all these criminals and all that. But on the background, that the Empire is bad, that they're oppressive, and you know what I mean? So you get this interesting ethical dichotomy where the nemesis of the main character is this guy who's being a super tryhard. It's kind of sad to see at some points, but he's fighting for the wrong movement. You know what I mean? Eventually, as the seasons go on, one of the key plot points is this oppression, event against a minority race in a minority planet. It is clearly inspired by real life events.
Fitting, yeah.
Think about current events right now, Middle East, World War II. There's a lot of inspiration and reflection that it draws to against real life and history, and I feel like that's what made this show super interesting, because yes, it's a sci-fi show about there's Jedis out there, there's this weird people with laser guns and laser swords, but there's a lot that I think the show does to draw a lot of realism into. Now, there are 2 seasons. There's only going to be 2 seasons. The show's done. Wrapped.
Okay.
in season 1, Andor, he's broke as well. He's got bad posture. He's not a rebel leader. But into season 2, this character develops into this confident man and someone that's a leader. You know what I mean? Someone that learns to kind of stand up for what he believes in, learns how he fits into the rest of the world, and, you know, eventually builds into key moments in Star Wars. So let's go back to why I think the show is really good. I think it does a good job of handling a lot of characters. Let's go back to the first slide. This is like a handful of like the key characters that I want to talk about. It does a really good job of there's only 5 here. It does a really good job of developing all of them, giving them growth, giving them a starting point and an ending point, showing what they represent in the real world. There is a lot that the show does to kind of make all of these characters really interesting. Like even the villains, I have to admit, are like you kind of feel something towards them at some point. You know what I mean? So I think that was really cool. Obviously, on top of that, there's the political messaging that I talked about. It's just a really well tense drama, and a lot of the criticism it gets tends to be that it tends to be a little slow at points. You know, every time a new arc begins, there's like pointless scenes where there's nothing going on. But I really do believe a lot of the scenes that might feel like that play a critical, essential role in like developing these characters into what they end up becoming. So 24 episodes, 2 seasons of 12 episodes each. Andor season 1 and 2, I have to recommend, is some of the best television I've seen in the past couple years, really. It is rated very highly on Rotten Tomato. It's the first show to get an IMDb rating of 9.7 plus in a row.
Wow.
I'm not the only one that's saying
I have a question.
all the positive things. Yeah.
Do you think are you happy with the ending? Do you think it wrapped up really well?
Ending is so good. I wish I could talk.
Okay.
I wish I could spoil everything. Everybody
no.
wakes up from a dream.
No, you spoiled enough. We know the whole first arc. Like literally, I don't know if you intended to, but like we know the whole first arc.
The thing is, I'm not afraid to spoil any of it because
I know you're not.
I know we know you're not. I don't know if the listeners want to hear it though.
No. Once you actually dive into the show and start watching, me saying the plot points and watching it, completely different.
Okay.
But on a base level, I feel like you said a lot about it.
I could keep going on because there's so much.
Please don't.
Much that happened.
We're good. You could like.
They all create a K-pop band together and they go. I'm sorry. All right,
I think this episode's like 2.5
Wait,
hours
what
plus.
What do you rate it out of 10, Warren?
9.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's good.
Okay.
All right. That was the end of the show.
Yay, Warren.
Yay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I already talked about the future music. Yay, Warren. Woo!
Yay. Thank you for joining our show and tell. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks, and don't forget to leave me LA food recommendations on Discord.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Is this episode really long?
I think so.
It is.
Yeah. And here's an extra special shout out to all of our Fiesta Patreons on patreon.com. Bagel, Charles, Cotton Ball, Ellie, Gogu Mama, Honey Pools, Incoming Snail, Liam's Games and Toys, Natalie, NJ Parks, South Texas Once, Siu Sumi. And thank you for joining SojuTalk, your weekly shot of K-pop. Thank you, really.